Mumbai ground, Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Mike on 121.9er, 12345 54321. How do you read? Mumbai ground, Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Mike Mumbai tower, Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Mike
Station calling, Mumbai ground. Say again, call sign.
Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Mike.
Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Mike, Mumbai ground. Go ahead.
Mumbai ground, Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Mike pre-flight radio check on 121.9er, 12345 54321. How do you read?
Victor Sierra Mike, Mumbai ground. Read you 5. Primary 747576. Secondary 8182. How do you read?
Read you 5, strength 5, Victor Sierra Mike.
Very good. Okay, very good morning, everyone. Very warm welcome. Actually, it's very cold. It's a cold welcome, but we are, no matter how cold or hot it is, engine always has to combust a lot of fuel air mixture. So, students, I hope you understood the gist of what we did. Today, you're going to learn specific things about specific ways how you're supposed to, focus on these things that I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you single statements for you to, uh, ensure that these are those little things, not little things, sorry, these are those major things, whatever you're going to learn today, those major things where we end up losing most of the marks. Because generally, as a student, our entire focus is on to giving a correct answer to a correct question, right? If there's a question, we are expecting to give a big answer. In our rush to do that, we end up forgetting the laws that we have to abide with respect to communications using radio telephony or communications in any civil aviation environment. Laws with respect to how to read numbers and letters. The first thing that you generally learn is the phonetics. The phonetics A, B, C, D, we call it phonetics, means the sound of the letter. A becomes alpha, B becomes Bravo, C becomes Charlie. As and when you think there's going to be a confusion, you are encouraged to use these phonetics instead of the individual letters. but where there will not be a confusion, especially for aviation specific abbreviations, ILS, DME, and so on. You know that you can actually use the letters without the phonetics. ILS, VOR, DME. This is one rule that we all know, right? This is something that I've never seen anyone make a mistake. But as we go ahead, discuss second rule, third rule, fourth rule, fifth rule, I realize that slowly, students stop thinking about the rules and they just want that big masala of the call. And that's where the error can happen. You learn this today because you are doing your almost most of you all are preparing for your exam, which is, I would say, a stone's throw away, right? So, with respect to that, whatever you're going to learn today, you have to make sure you remember it. After that, we'll be doing a lot of calls, practices, so that individually you can check where you are with respect to your capacity of call. So, I'd like to cue everyone so that one by one we all can do it. Students who are interested to do it by themselves, call practice. They should text me on Zoom chat, sir, I want to do it, I want to do it. Other than that, I'm going to take names and everybody has to do it, right? One by one. So that is the agenda for today. If you do well today, then tomorrow you will get those masalas that you're looking for. It all depends. By the way, that reminds me, one second now. I think tomorrow is 26th January because we have a lot of exams. Yeah, tomorrow. Because we have a lot of exams, I have not given a national holiday to us because anyway, it happens in the morning, right? Flag hoisting and all. So I'm hoping at least students who are attending Delhi exams, at least you will be there in the class because I'm not willing to take any break because I think the more we study regularly, it's better. So anybody has any request and would like to decide whether you should take a leave or not, if you are being called as a chief guest at some of the ceremony, that's a joke. I'm not doubting you cannot be called, but I don't see if there's any other reason for us to miss the class. So make sure you try not to miss the class because these 4 or 5 lectures are going to be very helpful. If you all need a holiday, then if I get a majority, then I might give. But for RT, I'm not willing to do that. Maybe for the next lecture, I could give that, which would be metrology, I guess, tomorrow. Okay, so those are the instructions. Today's session, we're going to start with questions and doubt resolution. First thing, okay, once that is done satisfactorily, I'm going to ask a few questions, but I think it's too soon for me to ask questions because I would want my major questions to be based upon these lectures. These lectures are nothing but the final touches to all that you have been learning so far. So that's why I'm not going to be asking you many questions unless I teach you something, which is going to happen. But other than that, yes. So let's start with your questions. One by one, you can raise your hand. Students, remember, whoever has exams in Hyderabad, why I'm saying Hyderabad, whoever has exams in Delhi, starting 6th November onwards, 5th, 6th, the first dates, please message me your dates right now on WhatsApp chat. Okay? Make sure you do it on WhatsApp chat. You know, I would request it regularly again and again. Write it again and send it. Don't highlight the earlier one. Okay, this is for a reason. You'll understand the benefit. Okay, so very warm welcome, everyone. We have Pooja. Very nice to see you, Pooja, live. We have very quick 4, 5, 6. Very good. Gurpreet is here. Gurpreet, I was asking many doubts yesterday with good flow, good. I would say throw confidence in his voice. It has been a long time coming. Sridhar is here. Om is here. Very nice to see you, Om. I remember our first conversation, and from there I can see tremendous discipline, which I in our first call wasn't sure. So I'm very happy to see that, Om. I think you'll be very much ready before your Mumbai attempts. We have mm, we have Suchita is here. Very nice call, Suchita, earlier. Actually, I was on mute. I didn't realize. Earlier also, I was talking to you. But because you gave the call, it was a good experience of miscommunication if you would have been on my end. Because what I said and what you replied, even though my microphone was on mute, you didn't get it. But your reply was similar to what I was expecting. And after that, I said something, but you even called tower. That's when I realized probably I am on mute. Basically, it could mean that in the RT setting, I have not pressed the push to talk button. So, assumptions and a chain of error or an error chain can result into that. That was something I experienced. I wish I could show it to you all, but it's not possible. But yeah, that was a very good call, very good rate of speech. Generally, yesterday I had instructed everyone that when we start the session, I would be expecting everyone to simulate a live experience and do readability checks. So Sushita got to experience, and I hope whatever calls we are doing, I hope you all are writing those calls live. Okay, make sure you all do that. We have Vignesh. Vignesh, anything you would have to discuss now, be verbal about it. Okay. I think yesterday's doubt also is pending for you. You can all raise your hands one by one. I'll give you a chance to speak, right? Zanvi is here. Zanvi, going good. Very good call yesterday. We'll be practicing more. Rani is here. Rani, be ready. We'll be practicing calls with you. Said we'll be practicing calls with you. Right. And Nukul is here. Nukul, you also have to practice. Predit is here. Preet is picking up. Preet will be practicing for you sometime later. No rush. Nice to see Yukti joining in live. Vishnupriya is joining in for a first session. Vishnupriya, just observe, see what you learn, what you don't understand, and put everything else in the parking lot. Pritam is here. Pritam, I'm not sure why you were calling, but I was unable to take it. If there's any message, just drop me a text over there. Manan is here. Surprisingly, Manan, I was not expecting that you would join live. Yesterday also you requested, but you were not there. Please attend these lectures, Manan. Please practice so that we can increase our chances. Jyotsna is here. Jyotsna, whenever I say you'd have to give me live calls. And I think also Sajal is joining in. And and yeah, that's it. No questions? Nobody has any questions? Okay. We'll start with Om. Om, tell me what's your question.
Yes, sir. Yesterday we were over Pune at flight level 310. Then why we are talking to Pune Tower? I think we will be talking to Mumbai approach because Pune is under the vicinity of Mumbai approach. Below flight level 70, we will be talking to Pune Tower, I guess.
Okay. Pritam, what's your question?
Sir, I have a questions regarding different question paper. So I was going through one of the question paper, and so the flight is from Hyderabad to Trivandrum, and the route is Whiskey 20. So there is a question regarding you reach Lima, correction, estimate time of departure 0350, passing flight level 170, estimate Lima 0400. One of the altimeter becomes unserviceable. To decide to continue flight and climb to flight level 310, take necessary action. So according to, I guess, sir, if there is altimeter failure, then we can't fly in the RVSM airspace. But the question still says that you decide to continue flight and climb to flight level 310.
Okay. Vignesh, what's your question?
The question was like how to structure this call,
No, I got
because
your
according
question.
to me, I can't fly to the RVSM.
No, I got your question. I'm asking Vignesh. I got your question. Okay. Pritam, Vignesh, what's your question?
Sir, in one of the question, I'm traveling towards south and I'm 15 nautical miles to one of the waypoint. and I receive bad weather which is drifting towards east, and this is the call. So I opted for standard weather deviation because I didn't know the exact position of the weather to whether to reroute or to do standard weather deviation. So is there any range so that we can make rerouting rather than standard weather, or both are right? I opted for standard weather deviation.
Okay. Do we have any other doubts? Think about it. And we also have Karishma. Karishma, very nice to see you. I hope you're picking up things. Yeah, so good questions, everyone. Very good questions. See, whatever questions you have with respect to question papers, I'm not sure what's your authentication of those question papers. So it might be that they will have a lot of errors if they are not published by ICAO or WPC or DGCA. So that is one thing why you'll always be confused. Second thing would be that whatever question paper doubts you have right now, you know your parking bay in your notes. In the parking bay, write today's date, 25th Jan, and write the question there. Okay. These two questions I'm going to park right now. Question paper doubts I'm going to park right now. So we'll be solving Om's doubt. But Om, I'm surprised. What do we say? I'm surprised that कल ही मैंने इस चीज का आंसर दिया था, बट शायद आपने सुना नहीं. छोटी छोटी चीजें हमसे मिस हो जाएंगी. होता है, बट हमें ध्यान रखना है कि मिस नहीं करना है. So just to check, if anyone can tell me with respect to, what do we say, the question that Om has asked, टावर को क्यों कॉल कर रहे हैं, अप्रोच को क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं? Can anyone try to explain, if you remember, what was the explanation given to you all by me in couple of, I think I just put it out there, why. So anyone think about it? What do you think? Open mic, anybody can give me an answer. Just think about it. No one?
Sir, because Pune doesn't have the approach.
Okay. Om is saying Mumbai approach ko call karna chahiye. So people, students, can you please give me this, what do we say? What do we say? The chart, everybody check the chart. Which chart number is it? Mumbai to Pune, which chart will I get it on?
Sir, at Pune, we are in under Nagpur control boundary.
Okay. Which chart number though?
So, chart number 1.
Chart number 1. Does everybody have a copy of chart number 1? Yes, no, maybe I'm hoping yes, because your acknowledgements, negative only we are taking, right? Positive, we'll be saving time. So yeah, no problem there. Okay. See, I'll show you something. Okay. I hope you'll understand. Remember, I told you all something that whenever you are over an airport, you are basically transiting that airport. Whenever you're transiting that airport, the main authority of the airport, which is always the tower, I could say, for the airport, not the airspace. It is tower only. There is a part in your regulations where, if you think about it, with respect to regulations and airspaces and classification of airspaces, then if you look at it from this cross-sectional view, I'll be drawing it and showing to you. Although with respect to your tower, you see a particular flight level attached or associated. Chart number 1 is not very clear for me to understand Pune in this case, because it's not showing me any particular CTR. The first circle, we could say, the first dotted line, CTR is not there. So let's first check the correct chart. Okay. Second chart is not even not having Pune. Third chart is also probably not having Pune. Fourth chart probably might have Pune. It is not having Pune. It has Mumbai to Aurangabad and Nagpur. So where is Pune? Even chart number 5, we are probably not getting Pune here. See, just scanning charts. I hope everybody knows how to scan charts. Chart number 6 also Nagpur, Pune is not there. Probably chart number 7, I have Pune. Still, I don't see any CTR surrounding Pune. Okay. And last chart is this. So with respect to these charts that we have, we don't see any CTR for Pune. It means we are not able to decipher or not able to, decide if Pune Tower has any authority with respect to a radius around them. Still, logically speaking, okay, with respect to you being in transit or you transiting a particular airport, okay, you are requested to take what is known as transit clearance. Students who don't know about transit clearance, keep it in your parking lot so that I'll teach you how to do it, or you keep it assured that you know what transit clearance is. Maybe you will learn it in coming lectures, maybe you have not learned it. Okay. So what is this transit clearance? So this is my Mumbai VOR. Let's say this is my Pune VOR. And then I'm going ahead like this. VOR are 3-letter codes. We will check on the chart and we'll see the VOR code for Pune, PUN, and the frequency is also given to us. Radials are also given to us. Even though Pune is falling under Mumbai air traffic control, overall, the departure and arrival will go along with Pune Tower only, right? So there is Pune Tower. And in the immediate vicinity of it also, Pune Tower will be there. Because it will be taking care of the ATC clearances and the final arrivals and the ATC circuits and all. That will be the responsibility of Pune Tower, although you cannot see it on the chart. All right. Some of the students have said this, probably sometimes the charts are a little different. Remember, students, any RT attempt could surprise you with something that you have not done before. So you look for the basics that have been taught to you and you go with the basics. Don't let anything new deviate you from the basics. Now, with respect to airspaces, what generally happens is my first ATC, that is tower, okay, will have a range with respect to Mumbai. Look on the chart. I probably have 25 nautical mile or 30 nautical mile CTR. From top view, it would look like this in blue, right? From the side view, this will look like this. So this tower generally gets a huge column, longer than the other ATCs like this. So this could be my CTR and this could be my CTA, that is tower and that is approach. Generally, the altitude for tower with respect to their authority to talk is more, but on your charts, you see a lower flight level. For Mumbai, you will see something like 50, and let's see what it is for Mumbai on the chart. See, CTR to 70. So the control zone starts from whatever the base is. CTR definition is starting from base only, and then goes to 70, that is flight level 70. Okay. So here flight level is not mentioned, but it means it is flight level 70, students. Nothing else. Flight level 70 means 7,000 feet. Here, generally, probably they could mean the reason they have not given flight level is probably because the transition altitude is below this. Students who don't know what is transition altitude, put it in your parking lot. Make sure your parking lot is dated. We need to know which date you have parked which route so that we know since how long it's been pending to be discussed, right? So here, with respect to this, my Mumbai airspace with respect to tower, the control zone CTR would go up to 7,000 feet. Flight level 70, 7,000 feet are one and the same. So with respect to that, my general airspace classification goes, it will mean that it is 7,000 feet maximum limit like this. Okay. But if we see for approach, then the next boundary, then approach we see has a radius of 100. This one over here, 100, we can see on the radius. And we see the flight level range for this approach starts from flight level 0, goes to Mumbai terminal control area. That is the maximum flight level. So the maximum flight level for Mumbai here, anywhere commercial maximum flight levels are flight level 460. Okay. In India, we follow that. Above that, we give it to general aviation, charter planes and all. Okay. So we understand that here also ATC with respect to approach can talk to us if we are within 100 nautical miles from 7,000 feet to the maximum flight level. What if I'm within 40 nautical miles? See, the tower range for Mumbai, horizontal range radius is 40 nautical miles. So 40 nautical miles from CTR, that is ground level, to 7,000 feet, I'll be talking to tower. This is what you learn. But when you actually talk about the airspace classification, okay, as per regulations, tower gets the maximum compared to any other thing. The column for tower will be very huge always. The same stands true for every tower. Although the range will be less, but the capacity can be given to tower. Why, if you're wondering? So remember, all these are on VHF frequencies. My aircraft here and my aircraft here, like this, they are getting a line of sight range with tower directly. LOS. They can communicate. All right. If I am within the CTR range of any aerodrome, and when I'm going to enter this, and when I'm going to exit this, enter, exit, for this aircraft, or maybe for another aircraft. Okay. And for this aircraft, I'm going to exit this. Entering and exiting require transit clearance for you to take. And that transit clearance is always taken by tower only. Tower will tell you whether you are allowed to go through this critical area of their airspace or not. It might be, saturated with the maximum traffic. If it is saturated, or if they have low manpower, they might not allow you to do it or transit. What would that mean in a horizontal example? From a top view, so if this is Mumbai, and let's say this is Pune here, it would mean if I'm getting transit clearance, I'll be allowed to fly like this. If I'm not getting transit clearance, then I'll have to fly by like this. Okay. Or if my route is going here, then the flying by would be like this, easier one, not the longer one. Depends where your route is connecting ahead. So these are basic rules that you'll be following. With respect to Ohm's question, we have to learn this, that even if you are over an aerodrome, it is possible to talk to tower. This is your closest authority. And if you think you cannot talk to tower, then you try to talk to the ACC of that area. That's it. Those are your two options, direct options. Approach will not be your option here, because approach is only taking care of from, I could say, 40 to 100 nautical miles from Mumbai. And here I am over Pune, and Pune might be outside of that approach CTA range, which is actually true in the chart. And in the chart, we can also see that Pune is outside Mumbai control. So I think the next control next to Mumbai, it could be Nagpur, because this is Nagpur and Nagpur ACC is here. Nagpur TMA is also mentioned. But none of the charts are clear enough for us to determine that for Pune right now. But we'll go back to chart number 6 and just cross check, I think, chart number 7, and see that Pune Tower is in some other place where the control is not specifically mentioned. And why is this? Is there any restricted area, prohibited area, danger area? Probably, maybe that's why. So here your best guess would be, when you are over Pune, either Pune Tower or the nearest control, I would say. It could be Mumbai control, or it could be that you are a part of Hyderabad control. But it's very unlikely for us to call Hyderabad control when we are in Pune and Pune is so close to Mumbai. With respect to that, Om, you're right. But flight level 310 approach is not the right answer. It will be TMM. Approach can be an option for you. But as a choice, if you're over Pune, first try to connect with Pune Tower. If not Pune Tower, then check with the nearest control or your control. With respect to this chart, it is very tricky, so try talking to Mumbai control. Whenever you are choosing your air traffic controllers, raise the station first and see if they are replying back to you. Now, with respect to raising the station, we can also call raising the station as establishing contact. Now, generally, in one of your old manuals, it's clearly specified that whenever you're establishing a establishing a contact, in the manual, it's specified that the term go ahead as we use has been omitted. But lately, I've got a response from one of the students that, sir, they are requesting for go ahead. So we will go with go ahead right now. Okay. If they are requesting go ahead, if they're raising a station, let's give them a go ahead. Okay. You be open to both possibilities with respect to that. Okay. If you're thinking there is a doubt and it needs a little more clarification, you can put that go ahead also in your parking lot. So we know that a little points that we need to master carefully, we'll be mastering them carefully before we go and give the exams. So here, because you're on Pune, definitely first choice will be Pune Tower anyway, because you'll be taking transit clearance, and transit clearance obviously happens with tower only, no matter what your airspace altitude is, restrictions are, whatever it is. If you're going to fly over an aerodrome, you might have to request transit clearance that will go with that particular tower only. I wanted to teach this to you all about tower having the bigger, longer airspace. I'm good that it is happening through a doubt. I'm very happy that way. Do we understand the students? Yes, no, maybe something to think about, right? Anyone
sir.
who's not understood, please talk to me about this. This is LOS, transmission and reception, simple. Both. So you have to connect a lot of information in bits and pieces and get the answers by yourself. So that's why I tell you, don't mug up things. Otherwise, aviation, like I always say, there will be a lot of variations, contradictions to each other, which are sounding correct. So we have to develop that kind of logic to understand which contradictions are incorrect. Second thing, what I liked about Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Mike's call. So today I'm going to give you these points. Write down the first points. How to report aircraft call signs. There are 3 ways you can do it. Okay. Very simple to understand. You can go with registration markings. All right. You can go with, what can we say? You can go with your airline codes. Now, what are your airline codes? It could be the whole name of your airline, or you could just give your abbreviation of the airline. Although as per your manuals of RT, the abbreviation for an airline code should not be used unless it's not there. But in India, we can use that because all our airlines, they are having their abbreviations given to us. As in Air India will have AI, Indian Airlines will have IC, and their call sign is also smaller. Like I think Go is iFly. Go has changed its name to Go First, but the call sign is still iFly. Anyone who has onboard experience with with someone where you have seen that they have changed it from iFly to iFly actually is for Indigo, and Go First is what what is it, student, for Go Airways? Golf 8 is the code, right? And what is the call sign that we use? Go Air is generally we were using. But now they have changed the brand name to Go First. The airline has changed their name from Go Air to Go First. Or I think Go First is their, what do we say? Um, how do we say this? Budget premium thing they have been saying, that we are giving you premium experience in budget thing. But for you, you can go with Go Air over there. And Indigo 6E, 6E, right? That will go iFly. And Red Knight, what is Red Knight? Is it Air Asia? Is the
Air Asia.
Air Asia call sign is Red Knight. But although you say Red Knight, you can either write Red Knight or you can write the code for Air Asia. Okay. Remember, so registration markings can be used. Registration markings for India would be Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo. Okay. Or you can also use, now remember this, okay, you can also say Cessna Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo also. Your call sign can use your brand name also. Your call sign can use your brand name also. But your whole registration marking should go ahead with it. For us, we are good to go with this. If we are not having this, the second could be that, we could take the code for the airline. Okay. The telephony designator, we could say. The telephony designator of the operating agency. Okay. Of the operator. What are the telephonic designators for us? So let's say Indigo has iFly. So we can say iFly. Okay. And then we have to give at least 4 letters or last 4 characters of your registration marking. Or you can give the whole registration marking also. Generally, you don't give iFly in writing. You will write it as 6E. And if a flight number is not associated to you, a flight identifier, okay, then you can say iFly Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo. This is also possible, students. Generally, we don't use this much. We don't use this much. What do we use is either the first one that I have taken or the third one that we are taking. And the third one will be telephony designator of operator followed by flight identification. So every aircraft that you will be flying from departure to arrival will have an identification. The numbers, there could be 3 letters, 3-digit numbers, 4-digit numbers. These days, 4-digit numbers are also there, 3-digit numbers are also there. That is a flight identification. So that is what we generally follow in your exams. So in your exams, either you'll get this or you'll get this one. iFly, 9R1, 9R6, something like this. 4 digits or 3 digits is also possible, or iFly 1, 2, 4. Now, if they tell you or if they ask you, can the aircraft manufacturer name can be taken of the aircraft or the model? Yeah, Boeing 737, Cessna 172. Okay, we can say that. But after that, we have to at least use the registration markings of the aircraft. So you can say, if using aircraft make and model like Boeing 737, and if a flight number is not registered, if there is no flight identification, then what you could say, Boeing 737, and if your registration marking is Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, then you can say Boeing 737 Lima Kilo. The last 2 characters at least. This is by the rule. Now what happens in the exams? Examiner wants to play with your mind, wants to check your information. So they might take a different call sign than your call sign following these rules. Let's say your call sign is Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo in the exam. You say Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo. Let's say your make model is Boeing 737. When I say make, here I'm meaning manufacturer. So they might say Boeing 737 Lima Kilo. Okay. Or they can say the other aspect, which is very important, which Suchita was easily able to handle in the call. So ATC can either say to you in the test conditions to play with your mind, but this is overall possible for anyone to use. But you will not use it by yourself unless ATC starts it. But if ATC starts using your call signs in a different way, these ways, then you are supposed to use the same call sign for the rest of your exam. Remember this. This is one of the errors that keeps happening here and there. Now we are going to avoid this error. Students, these errors that I'm talking about is why you will realize you are unable to clear the exams. Nothing else. Okay? So ATC, if ATC says, I fly 1, 2, 3. Okay, makes sense. Or ATC can say Airbus 321 Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo. Okay. If this is my call sign in the exam, if this is the call sign, this would be actual call sign in the question paper. Or this could be actual call sign in the question paper. This would be type of aircraft in the question paper. Like this. Or ATC can tell me Victor Lima Kilo. First letter and last 2 letters. At least. Like this. Wherever you see that there are chances of confusion happening, let's say there is one Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo and second there is Victor Tango Bravo Lima Kilo, then ATC will tell you to use Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo and the other aircraft ATC might say Victor Lima Kilo. So you don't confuse that you can also be Victor Lima Kilo in that case, in a real situation. You are following Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo and how do you know? ATC will acknowledge you with that. So you have to listen in the exams carefully, something that we miss out on our first attempts or when, we are just getting better and better at it. When we listen to it, we don't question what they are saying. We understand, okay, so they are changed a call sign to this. We are going to use the same call sign. Are they really changing your call sign? No, they are just using an alternate way that is allowed by ICAO for us to use. Okay. Or they can also tell you, okay, a very simple way. They can also tell you, okay, I fly, okay, Lima Kilo. What is this now? Aircraft identifier, operating agency, operator identifier. Operator will mean the airline. And at least, so they might use the last 3 digits also. At least we have to use the last 2 digits. So be on the lookout. Don't think they have given you a wrong call sign. Don't say negative, I say again, and this is my call sign. See if they've set the right call sign as per these rules. And if that is correct, then you go with that call sign only. That is a indirect way of telling you that we are choosing to call you by this call sign. So you also address us or yourself by this call sign. These little things are the reason why we are not clearing exams, nothing else. Master these things. These things, they look little, but this is as important as the first part of an emergency call addressing or the first 2 parts of a normal call W1, W2. 50% of your call is here, students. If we get this wrong, even after you give big masala calls, are you going to get correct? Are you going to pass the exam when the examiner knows you're not logically thinking about it and giving wrong call signs? When you're not following the basic rule of RT, they'll be like, go study and come back. So they will know you have mugged up your solutions to specific answers. They will know that. And if they know that, and if you show them that you're illogically giving the answer, they will not clear you, students. Even if they feel you have mugged up the answers, if you're, doing question papers and all, and still if you do logical, then they will not have any problem because they'll be like, okay, sahi kar raha hai bacha. He or she is doing it right. But your level of preparation is gauged by them, students, with respect to actual learning. This is the truth. I don't know what you are being told here and there. This is the real truth. Students who have not had any experience, you might not choose to believe me right now. But why won't you not believe your instructor? That's another question to think about, right? So these are the possibilities for my call signs. Okay. At least the last two digits. At least last two. So one of the ways where my Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo can be spoken, one of the other ways could also be Victor Alpha Lima Kilo now, because it has first letter and at least last two letters, right? Correct. And it actually has three. So it just missed out on Tango. It's okay. It's allowed. So you don't think they have given you a wrong call sign. As long as your first and the last two digits are matching, that is the way to check it. Are you clear with this, everyone? Can we move ahead? Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Students whose doubts are there in the parking lot, we'll come to it when the right time comes, okay? Please don't be distracted by that doubt and lose on everything that I'm showing or teaching you right now. Please remember this, okay? Otherwise, it's not going to serve our purpose. Now, time check is very simple. I'm giving you both possibilities. If this time check question comes to you in your question number 5 of part 1, this is going to be your exact answer. Okay? Or if they ask this to you in your part 2 Viva. With respect to your spoken time checks, it's not that difficult to do. So, if my time is, let's say 1030 AM, so how would I respond it? I'll first convert it into the 24-hour format. AM, it will be the same. Then how will I read it out? I'll say 330 or 1030. This is how you have to solve. Why? As a rule, write down during transmission of time. Okay, I'm dictating it. During transmission of time, only the minutes of the hour should normally be requested. During transmission of time, only minutes of hour should be required. Okay, only minutes of hour should normally be required. Of course, each digit will be pronounced separately, students. Okay, don't say 30. Don't make that mistake because 30 is not a number. 10 is also not a number. It's 10, right? But the hour, so underline minutes over here, only minutes. And now underline hour in the next statement. But the hour should be included when any confusion is likely to occur. Okay. These are the rules. The third rule you will write down when a pilot requests for time check from any appropriate ATC, time check will be given to the nearest half minute. Now, these sensitive things become major doubts in the end, I have seen, What is nearest half minute, students? If I say my time is 10 hours, 30 minutes, okay, and 27 seconds. And if I compare this with 10 hours, 30 minutes, 37 seconds. Now, 1 minute is 1 second, 30 second, 60 seconds. This is 1 minute. 1 minute comprises of 60 seconds. Nearest half minute is this. This is half. Okay. So anything that is less than in seconds, less than from 30 seconds, it will be reported as half minute. It is the seconds that are rounded off to give you half minute. It's not the minute that is rounded off. So here the rounding off, wherever you have written time check, will be given to the nearest half minute. You will add in bracket, that is, the seconds are rounded off to the nearest half minute. This is the actual meaning of the statement. So here, 10 hour, 30 minutes, 27 seconds would be reported how? If you are wondering, so the answer to this would be 1, 0, 3, 0, and half. Like this. I remember some students sometime was asking me this doubt also. Sir, half kahan use hota hai? Half kahan use hota hai? Why half? It means 7 hours, correction, 1030, 10:30 हुए हैं और आधा मिनट हुआ है. It means 10:30 minutes हुआ है. Like that. तो 31 भी हो सकता था, but ये 31 minutes नहीं है. 30 minutes हुए हैं और 30 seconds पकड़ के चलो आप. In the second case, here my time would be 1031. Nearest half minute. If you complete the nearest half minute, respect to 37, 30 plus 30 becomes 60. You don't have to say 60 seconds because 60 seconds add up to your minute and it becomes 1031 for you. So we have rounded off to the nearest half minute. So the nearest half minute, in this case, we can say, generally here we can say that it's more than half. So add it to your minutes. It's very crucial. If you can remember, great. Generally, they would be checking with you with respect to this section only to see whether you can mention that half. I'm giving you another example. My time is 4 hours, 16 minutes, 27 seconds. PM. Please transmit it. Anyone who is willing to transmit it, raise your hand. Rani, would you want to try to transmit it first?
Yes, sir.
Okay, try. Students, in class, if you're transmitting, even if you're wrong, you're only going to learn. Nobody's going to scold you. So do not be worried about it. This is out for everyone. Okay. Okay, Rani, go ahead.
0416 half. Is it right, sir?
You should always start with time. Time 04. Students, what I'm writing in letters, capital letters or spellings, it is spoken. This is spoken, and I'll also show you written so that you understand the difference. You're right, but 2 words are missing. Then it will be perfectly right. What are the words? You'll start with time 0416 and use and half. Specify on the and, otherwise it doesn't sound completely. How will you log it? Log in as in write. Time 0416 and half. Remember this, students. So in your exams, you'll write it like this if it's a question, but you will speak it like this.
Sir, it's PM.
Sir, 24 hours.
Good eye. Very good eye. Now we said it is PM. So what happens to PM? How do we add it? So it's very simple. If there is PM, you can say 1200, that is noon, afternoon, plus 0416, like this, to get it into the 24-hour format. So रानी तो ध्यान देना AM PM पे भी आपका आंसर वैसे स्पोकन वाइज तो करेक्ट है, बट की डिटेल्स जो हमें देखनी है, जहां हमारी मिस्टेक जनरली होती है, वो हो सकती है कि हमने टाइम नहीं बोला, हमने एंड नहीं बोला और हमने PM का ध्यान नहीं दिया. बस ये छोटी छोटी चीजें जब हम प्रैक्टिस में सीखते हैं, उसके बाद हमें पता चलता है कि हमारे आंसर्स तो अल्टीमेटली परफेक्ट हो गए. करेक्ट. सो हियर माय टोटल टाइम वुड बी 1616 and then I can say 16 hours 16 minutes and जो भी 27 seconds थे वो मैं यहाँ पे ऐड कर दूंगा. Now how will I read it? Usaid, you were next in line. आप बताओ. Spoken. आप spoken बोलो, मैं full लिख रहा हूँ. Log फिर मैं लिख दूंगा. जल्दी बताओ.
Sir, time 1616 and half.
Okay. How will we log it? Time 1616 and half. Rani, have you understood this? Usaid, Nukul, everyone?
Affirm.
Affirm, sir.
Rani, in your example, what I was looking for, you have done it correctly. So good job there. Okay. वो आपने सही बोला. जो मेन क्राइटेरिया था वो आपने सही बोला है. बस हमें एंड टाइम यूज कर लेना है. सिंपल. एंड AM PM का याद रखना है. I hope everybody is well versed with AM PM 24-hour format. Anyone who has confusions, you can put it in your parking lot and you can always discuss this in your doubts whenever I'm telling you to discuss your doubts. Any doubts so far? Preetham, are you following? Jyotsna, are you following? Zanvi, are you following?
Yes, sir.
Affirm, sir. Negative doubts. Victor Tango Delta Alpha Sierra.
ये जो भी आप लोग सीख रहे हो, everything that you're learning, students, do you think you'll be able to remember 100% of it?
Negative, sir. We have to revise it.
नहीं, मेरे को confidence level check करना है. Revise करके will you be able to remember it, students? Are you focused to work on it to make sure you'll remember it 100%?
Affirm, sir.
Affirm, sir.
By the way, Preetham pointed out carefully that these things could be
Affirm,
missed
sir.
out any time, you know. So we have to revise. I agree with you, Preetham. But try to learn right now in a way that abhi aap samajh gaye. So students, one more thing I've seen that sometimes when we are under the pressure of exams, we don't really listen to what instructor is saying, because we are following something else, probably a set of question papers, and you already have gone through it and you see, this is other solutions, to aapko aata hi nahi hai usme se. And if you are in that mindset, so please leave it. Trust me, leave it. If you follow 100% that I say, and if you are able to learn 100% that I give, you will get your results, 100% students. These 3 levels, if we check, sometimes if I'm not able to train you properly, that level is not checked. But if I'm training you, you are trained. But if you are not trained thoroughly, then that level is not checked. But if I'm training and you are trained thoroughly, then this is always checked. होता है, definitely होता है. The question papers and all, you can keep it for last, once you're done learning and you're confident. After that, once you're confident in that term where I was talking about in your first masterclass the other day, that it should come from within. You should understand you are the PIC. You are owning the responsibility. Then sometimes certain errors which don't comply with a few protocols that you have learned, like Preetham's doubt and Vignesh's doubt. These doubts I've solved multiple times before. Anybody who's referring question papers will always discuss those doubts. I know that. I can tell you all the misprints also on those papers that you're preferring to use. The reason I don't tell my students to use them is because they have a lot of mistakes. But because people are told that they are exam questions and they are repeated, students just think mugging up and going will be easier than, because they think that's the only way to do it. Because that's how we are trained to give exams, right? Mug up and answer, mug up and answer. Aviation is not all about mugging up. Sometimes we have to mug up rules with respect to turning errors, acceleration errors, and some variation, aviation, east, without understanding the logical reasoning. But if we understand the logical reasoning about how the magnets are moving here and there, then we will never have to memorize only. If we know that how my instrument is going to behave when I'm taking that turn, and if I know how my instrument looks, then I can imagine, okay, I'm going there, it will learn like this, so it might underread or overread. Answer come. But because we have not been in the cockpit, that we give you certain things to memorize. But in your RT, it is not like that, But never mind, once you are thorough, if you're preferring question papers and reading, I don't mind, you can read. Only look for probable intent to that situation that you have not yet solved. But don't believe in the call structure. Don't believe in the protocols. Don't believe anything else. Just the intent. If you have found out the intent, if you know the question, then frame your own call as per what you have been taught. If you can do this, then I don't mind you reading any question paper whatsoever from wherever. So remember this, anyone who is still thinking that, no, I have to do papers. If you think you have to do papers, then only go for the intent and then frame your own calls. Don't mug up those calls. They are written by someone who himself doesn't know. I cannot say more than that right now, because they are written as a solution by some student who is not yet proficient with his or her calls. You don't understand. The student has been given question papers to mug up, and then the student has been given that in the exams in that particular class. And the student out of memory just mugged up and wrote it, and his or her memory was very less, the one that has leaked out for others for you to see. And if you follow that, how will you get correct marks in the exams? Because the student himself has not been able to give thorough things. The examiner, the person who has checked those things might have hundreds of students sitting, so they might have just then keywords. They are not emphasizing as much as we are doing in your calls right now. So that particular student whose book you are referring right now, he himself might not have cleared the exam when he or she wanted to. But who's going to tell you all that about these papers? For you, what matters is question paper repeat ho raha hai na, call sign question paper repeat ho raha hai. So those students who are good at mugging up, they might clear. But what if the question paper has slight differences? Don't you think examiners are smart enough to not repeat exact papers? So whom to believe then? Huh? Then you very well buy your way through aviation, students. Yesterday, I was talking to a student, someone had some issue and he just wanted to consult. And I'm like, okay, I'll give 5-10 minutes to talk. My student's like, sir, if I'm not going to get a job because of certain issues, what's the point of investing so much money? I was like, you are investing money in flight training to learn the art and science of flying. You are not investing money to get a job. This is not a business, it's a skill. You're paying for the education to learn. Hardly one amongst 1 lakh people might be able to do it. It's very expensive. But no, nobody understands that. That's the mentality we all go through, right? How much will we put in and how much ROI? He was saying, sir, ROI kab hoga, pata nahi. Like, ROI is good for your businesses, students. Education is costly. And now we have to see itna invest karenge to hame wapas milega ki nahi. That's a good thought. But in aviation, that is really not a good thought. Because even after you, let's say, spend 1 crore in your flight training, there's no guarantee you're going to get a job, right? If you're not a good person with respect to what the airline wants, you're not going to get a job. And how do you become that good person? By learning and being the best in terms of knowledge and skills. That's the money I was talking to that student that you're investing. He's like, then still he was not understanding. It's so difficult to break down a calcified thought form. It's not my job. I was just sharing my point of view. But then I just gave him an example. Let's say you're looking for ROI. You want that big 10 lakh income in your amount. So every year you'll make 1 CR as a pilot. So why not you just, as a hypothetical situation, I'm not saying people are doing. I'm like, why not you just buy your way through all your qualifications, if that is possible? Let's say you buy it spending 5-10 crores. You get everything, you also get a job. Will you be able to fly the plane sitting in the cockpit if you have not learned how to fly? What will you do after you get a job, buying your way through the job? What will you do? And you're like, हाँ sir, मैं क्या करूँगा? मेरे को आता ही नहीं है plane उड़ाना. So I understand, students, learn. It is difficult. I know. It's not impossible. I could do it in my first attempt. So many of my students do it in first attempt. If you cannot do it in your first attempt, you eventually do it in your second or third at max. That you do with hard work and learning and actual learning. Learning in a way that you can anytime share your expertise or your knowledge and your education with anyone. Juniors and anyone. Anyone. Exactly how I am doing it right now. It's your choice. After understanding all this, if you approach the question papers for practice, I don't mind at all. It will only going to help you make your job easier in the exam, I would say. But only look for intent, not the call structure, not the way the call is done. That's it. If you use that more in the exam and what I'm teaching less, you'll not get results, students. Right now, I'm telling you all. But if you use what I'm teaching more and less of that, then your chances of clearing are much more. So you can have a good combination of two. I don't mind. But not over and above what you're learning here, because this is real learning. This is by the book, by the manual. Okay. Time is done. Carefully. Yesterday, one more doubt we had discussed with respect to Nukul's question. Time on the hour is one way that we could say without using any, what do we say? But still, you can put it as an asterisk because, we might always, I always like doing extra research to certain doubts till the time I don't get a solution. I like that thing. So I could just do more and more on your doubts if you don't have a clarification. All information is out there, in publications. We just need to have patient enough and a little knowledgeable enough to find it. So we don't need to go on to what other people are saying. We just need to study what we are required to study for each exam. That's why you make sure you remember the docs and annexures related to RT, the names at least, because in the exams part 2, they might ask you, okay, can you tell us what is the RT doc or what is the RT annexure? At least memorize those, because they will expect you to learn from those books only, nothing else. And I'm teaching you from there only, nothing else. Okay. So now a couple of more points and then we'll be taking a short break. One point that I'd want you to discuss, whenever, write this point down, with respect to call signs, whenever an abbreviated or a reduced or a changed call sign is used, the pilot will only use it in this way if he or she was addressed by the air traffic controller.
Sorry sir, please say again और
गुरप्रीत, आरटी में क्या सीखा है? मैसेज खत्म होने के बाद ही आप रीड बैक मांगोगे ना, बीच में कैसे टोक सकते हैं?
sorry.
सॉरी की बात नहीं है, याद दिला रहा हूँ. बीच में से अगेन बोलते हैं हम कभी. स्टूडेंट्स, वेरी गुड एग्जांपल. If you are missing something out, let the transmitter speak everything, leave it blank, continue writing whatever you missed, and then you will, when the channel is open, when the transmission is done, that's when you will say again. ध्यान रखना इस चीज का.
Okay.
So whenever, okay, I'm rephrasing it, students, but because it's not written anywhere, I'm speaking out of my mind, I'm rephrasing it in a different way now. Whenever your reduced or abbreviated call sign is to be used, note that it can only be used when you are addressed by the ATC in the first place using those reduced or abbreviated call signs. You can write it in your own words also. If your abbreviated or reduced call signs are to be used, it can only be used by you when you have been addressed in the first place by the ATC using those call signs. It means until and unless ATC is not reducing your call signs or abbreviating your call signs, you stick to what is there in the flight plan and what you've learned in the flight plan. That's it. If ATC starts using your reduced call signs, then whatever ATC has said, just carefully check if it's your call sign but reduced. Now you know what would be the reductions. And then you also start using those abbreviated call signs. Then you have to use those abbreviated call signs. Understood, students? There is one more point that you could write down about your change of call signs. Okay. Can you directly change your call sign in flight? Possibly, yes. When ATC requires you to. Simple. Okay. But write down this statement. An aircraft can be instructed by ATC to change the type, underline type, of its call sign. So type of its call sign, not the call sign. Call sign will not change. The type of the call sign. Whether the full one, the airline one, abbreviated one, first and last two, first and last three. Change the type of its call sign temporarily. Temporarily. Fumbling here. Okay. Write down next point. Note, an aircraft will never change its call sign during flight. An aircraft will never change its call sign during flight except in a situation where possibility of confusion except in a situation where possibility of confusion is likely to occur because of similar sounding call signs or because of similar call signs. And write down one last point about your call sign. Write down the last point about your call sign. Aircrafts that have wake turbulence as heavy now this is rule that I have seen many students struggle with respect to your doubts again. Aircrafts with wake turbulence category heavy should use heavy immediately after the aircraft call sign. Underline the next parts. During the initial contact between the aircraft and ATC. Or you can write ATS units, air traffic service units. So the purpose and the mandatory requirement to use heavy is only during initial contacts. That's why we generally use it only during your startup calls. That generally becomes your first request or your pre-flight checks or readability checks. After that, if you're going to continue with that ATC, even if you don't say heavy, it's okay. So the initial contact is the term where it is very important. One more point you will write. During that is communication establishment. When I say communication establishment or establishing communications, it means you're beginning to communicate with an ATC as your initial contact or for the first time. Okay? That is during raising the station with any aircraft, or that is during initial contact with any ATC. Write down, aircraft should use in capital letters. Aircraft should use full call sign of both the aircraft and the aeronautical station. This aeronautical station here represents, it could be an aircraft also, it could be an ATC also. So understand specific terms are used in specific places. In your exams, fill in the blanks could come in question number 5. Probably fill in the blanks could be given to you in your part 2 Viva also. Just transmissions, reading out, fill in the blanks could also be given to you. So in certain places, it would be air traffic service units, not ATCs also. That's why I've underlined this right now. Wherever you have to use the word ATC, you will use ATS units. Remember this with respect to fill in the blanks or read out of normal letters into RT radio telephony. Sometimes they'll give you a call sheet where they'll write things in non-RT language and you'll be required to speak it in your RT. So for ATC, you can refer to air traffic service units. And whenever the communication can happen with respect to an aircraft and any other station, it could be another aircraft or any ATS unit, then we will use the word aeronautical station. So with respect to those situations where a traffic controller is the only person my aircraft is going to talk to with respect to clearances and all, there you could replace the word air traffic service units. And wherever you see the call when the aircraft is making, it could be to initiate a contact with any other aircraft also, or it could be to initiate a contact with any other, ground station also. Then we'll use the word aeronautical station over there. Okay. Write down next point, very important point. Okay. Broadcast. What is broadcast, students? Can anyone tell me what is broadcast? Anyone knows the meaning of broadcast? You have been given abbreviations. Many of you all have been given definitions to these.
One-way communication, like radio.
उसैद बोल रहे हैं क्या ये आंसर? Very good. Broadcast. One-way communication like radio. Radio का नहीं समझा, मतलब आप बोल रहे हो FM radio, right? अच्छा. Okay. Write down, students. Broadcast. Broadcast is a transmission of information relating to air navigation. Now in RT, whatever simulations you are doing, students, the simulations are with respect to you navigating the aircraft. So that is air navigation over here, okay? Broadcast is a transmission of information relating to air navigation transmission of information that is not addressed to a specific station or stations. That is not addressed to a specific station or stations. It's like in your WhatsApp, you had a feature called broadcast message. In that broadcast message, you can send it to multiple people at the same time. Now they have restricted it to just 5 people because people were spamming, right? So broadcast in our own way could mean that one message is sent out to everyone. So right now I am broadcasting, but I'm broadcasting to your limited people only. But that becomes called broadcast because it's not directed to just one person. Okay. This broadcast is very important to understand. Why is it important to understand? To understand the next 2 points that I'm giving you before we go on a break. Any doubts on broadcast? Okay, quickly write down the next point. First point you'll write for aircraft. Okay. When an aircraft wishes to broadcast, for aircraft, when aircraft wishes to broadcast information. Remember yesterday we were talking about what is your call all about? It's information exchange. These are messages. Messages are nothing but information being sent from one point to another point. That's why they're using information. Wishes to broadcast information. Whenever the aircraft wishes to broadcast information to aircraft in its vicinity. The moment I've said it, how many students are getting that all aircraft in the vicinity in your minds? Automatic. Please raise your hand. Whenever the aircraft is talking about or wishing to broadcast information, only 4 students. How about others? You have not raised your hand. Especially those students who have done RCF and aviation on your own. Pritam, are you not there? Jyotsna, Nukul, it didn't come to your mind? Pritam, Jyotsna, Mukul? Nukul, I mean.
Sir, I relate to that metrology, metar.
वो भी सही है, वो भी
Yes,
ब्रॉडकास्ट होता है, बट हम तो आरटी पढ़ रहे हैं ना अभी,
right.
तो आरटी रिवीजन
So
नहीं
can
चल रहा
we
है, नुकुल
say
स्टार्ट कर.
so can we say ATS is a broadcast?
Of course. Of course. You're right. If that comes to your mind, you're right. But students who have done transmission blind calls where you are doing deviation on your own, it means it's not a blind transmission the way we do transmission blind, but we make a call to all aircrafts in our vicinity. Why do we do that in that situation, students? Because we are deviating on our own. And because we are deviating on our own, some other aircrafts might be at risk in our vicinity. Students who are not yet clear about this, do this as a revision, okay? Wishes to broadcast information to aircraft in its vicinity. Continue the statement. When an aircraft wishes to broadcast information to aircraft in its vicinity, the message should begin. The call, the message, so you'll write the message. In bracket, you'll write that is call, bracket close, should begin. In bracket, you will write preceded. Preceded means first, coming first. The message should begin by the call all stations. Now, this is in a normal situation, they have said all stations. In an urgency situation, it becomes all stations, all stations. And you know, deviation on your own is an urgency situation. So that is a very good classification and way to remember what we are learning with respect to the confusions that students generally have with respect to all aircraft calls or transmitting blind calls. विघ्नेश, इतना टाइम मिला है, इतना गाइडेंस मिला है, प्लीज अच्छे से रिवाइज करना है ताकि हमें इंस्टेंटली थॉट जो आ रहा है. Sorry, Vignesh, you've got so much of time, you've been revising so much. Work on the errors that you were making. That's the only difference we need to do. If you stick with those errors, then the same results might come in the exams, and we don't want the same results, right? You have to do the effort, sit and classify and understand things with the respect to the errors or the confusions you have. You cannot just expect yourself to live with the confusion for the rest of your lives. If that is happening, it means you need to sit down, make your own flow chart and figure it out. And then compare that flow chart with what you have been taught. You will find the differences. But if you don't want to find the differences and go in the exam, then you know the examiners are very strict. They won't like you making more than a few mistakes. Okay? Write down, note. No reply is expected to such calls. No reply is expected to such calls. But if a specific individual station is called for acknowledgement of the broadcast, then a reply will be given by that specific station. So, no reply is expected in such calls. But if specific or individual aircraft is requested to acknowledge the broadcast message, then reply has to be given by that specific aircraft. Students, one more thing. Did you observe? When I'm dictating and I'm not writing, it becomes so difficult for you to write it down, even though I'm dictating and I'm thinking I'm slow. But again, if I'm writing and dictating, everybody is getting it in the first go. How? Why? The why is the answer to why you have to log all your calls in the exam. Why you have to practice speaking and writing. Because this is the best way where we don't have to do unnecessary repetition. And when we write and speak, our speeds automatically are in sync with each other. It took me 10 seconds to come up with the word sync. I'm losing my mind, I think, huh? We all need a break, right? Transmitting blind call, Vignesh, is not a broadcast. Transmitting blind call is going to your actual ATC only when other ATCs are not working. It's not a broadcast. Broadcast is when you're deviating on your own, you're making to the other aircrafts. Simple to understand. Still, you have got it wrong, correct it. Very good. But stop asking your doubts on chat box. Please ask it out loud. How many times should I say that, Vignesh? Any questions? Right, one more point. If a ground station wishes to broadcast information, the message will begin by all stations. Same. If a ground station wishes to broadcast information, so we'll take a break, students, I think in just a few more minutes now. Just bear with me. Yeah. If a ground station wishes to broadcast a message, the message will proceed with the call all stations. So the call all station is referred to as a call here. Remember that. Chalo. Any doubts? Feel free to discuss your doubts, students. These things that we are learning today, you will see they are going to improve the quality of your calls tremendously. As in, there'll not be any room of error left other than you trying to figure out your intention. I could say that would be the final challenge you should address. But for that also, we have strategies which we'll be giving you. But first, these things first, because a good student also misses out on exam results because of these errors. Nothing else. When I say good student, I mean all of us. You're all independently doing it, right? Self-motivated, self-driven. This is what I like the best about my class, because everyone is chosen carefully and everyone is going through something or the other where the life is not as normal as it is for anybody else. That's where the real challenge comes. Even youngsters who have just started in, I can sense the difference that they have, and I feel that if a youngster is joining in who has those potential, then I would really feel nice, even though the youngster has not seen those challenges that somebody else has seen, who's flown or not flown, or cleared or not cleared, or starting late or early in life in the not names of the society. So enjoy this. I'll be seeing you back after the break. Plus 20 minutes. How much do I get? 1255. So I'll see you all, everybody, and I'll be seeing you within 1255 and half. Not more than that. Okay. See you after the break, class. Welcome back. Students, let your presence be felt. If you're back or not, just let me know in one way or the other. I think 1/3 of the class, I think 1/6 of the class is still not inside the room. Nice to see you, Nukul and Prerit. Abhi tak to I think I was just going on with a blind class only. For me, it was blind transmission, but I hope your reception is complete. That is more important for us.
So I forgot to turn on video, I guess.
No, it's not a compulsion anymore. Yeah, chalta hai, abhi we have gotten used to it. अच्छा है, आप लोग कर रहे हो, आप लोग के benefit के लिए ही है, but I'm hoping that everybody is learning effectively. At least some acknowledgement people are giving here and there, so it's fine. But it's nice to see you. Very good. Any questions so far? I think one student is still not in, but it's fine. So I hope Nukul, Prerit, Gurpreet, Sridhar, you're understanding what we are learning. Don't take these things for granted, students. Om, Vignesh, Rani, I hope you're understanding. These are things that are going to fine tune. Manan, आपका तो मुझे बहुत कुछ चेक करना है, so I hope you're picking up these things. Jyotsna, Krishma, for you, I'm sure if you follow everything rightly, then everything will be very perfect for you. Jyotsna, for you, it's nothing, just, I think, mastery of whatever you have learned. Seth, sensing good confidence levels. ये चीजें याद रखो, ये mistakes minimize होंगी, आराम से हमारे chances increase हो जाते हैं clear करने के. Suchita, I hope you are understanding where to fill in the blanks, gaps. Very well, the preparation should happen. Zanvi, I hope you're taking in everything correctly and ensuring that you're not gonna ensure these errors ever happen again. Or once also. And Preetham, for you, it's just beginning. You might take some time to get into it, but make sure you're getting the best of everything, not compromising on anything that we are learning in class. And Pooja, I hope you're also understanding that for you, these little things might make a big difference in the exam, because everything else you already know, which I also know. So we have to make sure that these skills that we are learning, we use in our transmission automatically, whether we are good public speakers or not, whether we are panicking or not, whether we are nervous or not. If we follow these protocols, then our performance is always right, irrespective of what we are, how we are. So in order to do a job, we need to follow a few protocols. This is the protocol. One of the most important elements that we're going to discuss now with respect to these things is a common thing that we need to know. And that common thing is called as, write down the important title for your situation that we're going to discuss right now. If the transmitter or the station calling has a doubt, okay? Let's say you're flying and there is an air traffic controller. Let's say you have said something, okay? And ATC has a doubt. If I have received correctly or not. If I have doubt if I've received correctly or not, what will the ATC do? In the same case, if ATC transmits something and the aircraft is in doubt, what am I supposed to do? These are interesting points, interesting phrases that you have already learned when you have done phraseology, a little bit of it. But there are variations in it. These variations are very important for us to understand. Okay. Any guesses? What are the words and phrases I'm going to use?
Say again. Victor Tango Romeo Bravo Victor. Inform. Victor Tango Romeo Bravo Victor.
Say again, right?
Victor Tango Romeo Bravo Victor.
Yes. Say again is something that everybody is saying. Say again, say again. So write down, if there is a doubt that you have not received the message correctly, or if the other person has not received the message correctly, repetition of the message has to be requested in either FULL full or in part. Okay. Let's take examples. What is the meaning and what is the phrase we are going to use? Very simple. This will make your job much more easier with respect to examinations and satisfying the examiners. If you follow this table, automatically you're giving a perfect call. Sometimes we don't realize the little errors that we are making in the exams because we don't know these little differences. But now we'll know after we check this out. So if somebody wants me to repeat entire message, what is the phrase I'm going to use? I'm going to use the phrase say again. If I have to repeat a specific item in my message, let's say flight level, let's say VOR radial, let's say DME distance, let's say time or estimate, one of the things from your call or one of the things from your clearance. And what will you say? You'll say again, and that name of the item. So if I think I've not heard flight level correctly, I'll say again, flight level. Just that much, nothing else. Any doubts so far? Write down the next, repeat part of message. Now, they don't want you to repeat the entire message. They don't want you to repeat the specific item, but they want you to repeat part of message. The part of message is going to be in 3 variations. Repeat part of message, repeat part of message, and again, repeat part of message. Now, chances are, sometimes you will only listen to the first part of the message, and afterwards you will miss out on everything that happened with Gurpreet. Sometimes it will happen that you'll miss out on the beginning part of the message, but you will be getting to know the entire part of the message. This is why we tell you that don't interrupt a transmission ever. When the transmission is done, make sure whatever you could write, you have written down. You will know whether you have missed a before part of the message or the after part of the message, or maybe in between somewhere. Maybe a message given to you was climb to flight level 350, thereafter turn right to intercept radial 340, report reaching. And let's say you missed out turn right after turn right completely. So there you could say again after turn right. If you have missed out just the between part, turn right radial, but you know everything else, you'll say again after turn right and before will go. Meaning is the same here. So you know will go or report reaching, sorry. So you will say again after turn right and before report reaching. So you're just asking for the radial of turn right here. It's a specific item, so you could say again radial after turn right also. If it's a lengthy part that you have missed, then you can say again after that word and before those words. So only a between part. Or there could be a sign where they say you have missed out everything before the flight level. So you could say again before turn right. So they'll tell you everything said to you before turn right. So these are 3 ways you could go about it. How do you know which is your case here? How do you know which is your case? It's just by writing everything that you could hear and then checking whatever you have written, whether it falls in any of these criteria. Be very flexible with it. You don't need to mug up. If you stop writing everything in the exam just because you missed first 2 letters and the call is lengthy by the ATC, probably a clearance, and when you say again, it might irritate couple of your examiners because they were expecting you to write partial of the call at least. If you miss of words, leave blank and continue writing. And then request say again for that specific part only. That will get you more marks. So don't give up there. So repeat part of message. Okay, first option that we are going to take is write down, say again all before. Before what, students? So in bracket you will write before the first word properly received. So whatever first proper words you have started receiving, before that only you need a read back. After that, you completely know the whole call. Second one, we will say again. Okay. We'll say again all after. So here, after the last word correctly received is what you will say. After what? After, in bracket, you will write the last word satisfactorily or properly received. And the last one, a part of a message. Again, what part? I can say, if it's like a fill in the blank situation, when I'm done logging what the ATC has said, I'll say again all between dash and dash. Nothing in bracket for this. I hope all stations can hear me on a scale of 5. Go through this once again, see if you have any doubts. Quickly, we don't have much to do, neither do we have much time right now. So let's make sure we have gone this behind us so that afterwards from tomorrow's session, we can discuss actual situations and apply these laws in our actual situations And let's try to do trickery situations first. And while we are doing trickery situations, I'd be expecting you to practice your calls. So that is the emphasis. It's not just me speaking and you listening, but it starts with that so that we know the ultimate knowledge that we need. The emphasis on practice primarily first be for Delhi students. So be mentally prepared, and anything extra you need, keep texting me about it so that I keep that in sequence. Remember that. Okay. Now I'm giving you all a situation where
Mumbai ground, Victor Tango Delta Alpha Sierra.
Victor Tango Delta Alpha Sierra, Mumbai ground. Go ahead.
Sir, suppose we miss something in our call. So we will say again, right? So do we have to write it for the second time also in the papers?
Yes. Yes.
Like everything, like if we say correction also.
You see, the rule for writing is very simple. Okay, students. I have said I have been given a clearance by ATC. I'll write it down. If I could not write it completely, whatever I've written down with blanks and all, I'll write it. I'll leave everything else blank. Then I'll say again all after so and so word. Whatever I say, I'll write it. Then ATC will say, I say again after whatever they say. They will write it. They will end with your call sign. Whatever they say, you write that. Then your readback starts. Your readback should be a combination of what you have missed and what you have written completely here. Remember that, students. This is how you sort it out. You will not rewrite, overwrite on the same call. You will not fill in the blank on the same call when you're logging in. Is that clear, everyone? Pritam, is that clear how to go about it?
So we don't have to write for the correction word, right? Suppose we have missed something and we say correction.
प्रीतम, मैं तुम्हारे डाउट का ही आंसर दे रहा हूँ. नहीं समझे क्या आप उसको? मैंने क्या बताया? उसी का आंसर दे रहा हूँ मैं आपको. कैसे नहीं करना करेक्ट तो करना है ना. करेक्ट तो करना है, बट जो आपने आधा लिखा है उसको करेक्ट नहीं करना है आपको.
No, like if I am speaking and I'm saying something and I said like wrong, so I have to say like correction. For example, QNH 1013. So for example, QNH 1013, correction QNH 1025. So do we have to write the correction word also in the call?
अभी हम clarify this. What is happening with respect to say again? Come on.
Like is say again. Suppose we miss some of the part in the call, so we'll say again between this and this, and the ATC will reply the part, and we have to write the ATC part in that. But in the readback, we have to.
No. देखो, पहले ये चीज पक्की कर लो आप लोग, प्लीज. स्टूडेंट्स, बी केयरफुल. प्रीतम, भले ही आपको आपका डाउट का आंसर डायरेक्ट नहीं मिल रहा है, बट जो बोल रहे हैं वो सीखना बहुत जरूरी है. वो भी बहुत जरूरी है. ATC says Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, after departure, climb to flight level 70, runway heading, thereafter turn right to intercept radial 250. Now I had some error and I could not write after runway, but I could hear thereafter. So what will I say? I'll say, and of course they would have given me their call sign also, Mumbai Tower. So I'll say Mumbai Tower, considering it's my first call, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, say again after runway and before thereafter. ATC will say, I say again, after runway 27, Mumbai Tower. So I realized I might have missed a lot, but I didn't really miss a lot. So it's okay. What will I say? After runway 27, Mumbai Tower, then you'll say, after, here you'll correct this reply, students, correct this reply. After runway 27, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, you're given a readback to the last call given to you. Now you're supposed to give a readback to the entire clearance. That entire clearance which you had not correctly written down, you will read it again. You will read the filled up part and you will say, after departure, climb flight level 70, runway heading, runway 27, thereafter turn right to intercept radial 250, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo. This is what I was showing right now. Has everybody got it? How to do it? How to give the exact readback of the initial clearance given to you? This, Preetam, have you understood this? First, कि जो आपने पहले पूछा उसके हिसाब से मैंने ये आंसर दिया है आपको. अब ये आंसर जब दिया है, I want everybody to follow this. This is a very important example I'm giving you. This is with respect to reception. Has everybody got it? How to do it? Are we doing it this way? Are we going to do it in this way? अभी प्रीतम क्या पूछ रहा है, मैंने गलत दिया है क्वेश्चन. QNH 1010 correction QNH 1013. You can do this. This is how you can do correction. If you don't want to do correction like this, you can say QNH 1010 correction QNH 1013. Is the doubt resolved?
Affirm, sir. Victor Delta for sir. Thank you.
अच्छे से नहीं आंसर मिला है तो अच्छे से पूछो वापस से. आई डोंट माइंड, बट माई कंसर्न वॉज जो बताया उसको मिस नहीं करना है, इसलिए मैं रिपीट करके उसका एग्जाम्पल दिया, बिकॉज वो भी बहुत जरूरी है सीखना यहाँ पर कई स्टूडेंट्स को वहाँ पे. तो आपने जो डाउट पूछा मुझे लगा आप वो पूछ रहे हो तो मैंने वो आंसर किया है. बट नेक्स्ट टाइम जब आपने पूछा तो आपने बोला सर मैंने बोलने में कोई मिस्टेक कर दिया तो मुझे वो लिखना है कि नहीं लिखना है. तो वो मैं अभी बता रहा हूँ. अब खुल के मुझसे आप वो डाउट पूछ लो फटाफट. क्या पूछ रहे थे आप?
नहीं सर, it's more than enough. The example you gave.
समझ गए? जनरली हम ये करेक्शन भी यूज कर सकते हैं.
हाँ जी सर.
क्रॉस आउट करके हम करेक्ट फ्रेज पूरा बोल सकते हैं, या फिर हम चाहे तो ये करेक्शन भी लिख सकते हैं. बट यहाँ पे कोई कंफ्यूजन हो सकती है, इसलिए जनरली हम ये करेक्शन, बोलना करेक्शन है, आप ये लिख सकते हो. बट आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं मैं जो बोल रहा है वो सब लिखना है, देन यू कैन डेफिनेटली राइट करेक्शन एंड डू दिस. Or if you want, you can cut correction, you can write correction, and you can write the correct word also. तीनों चलेगा इस केस में. Okay. Saying is more important here. In respect to logging, you can log it like this. तुम exactly पूछ क्या रहे थे प्रीतम, बताओ मुझे एक बार. पूरा क्वेश्चन तो सुन लो तुम्हारा वहाँ.
नहीं सर, यही सवाल था, like do we have to write each and everything what we say?
Yes.
So जैसे अभी
100%. Carry on. बातें कर रहे हैं, बोलो पूरा पूछो.
तो वही वाला like correction वाला, जैसे कि अभी for example I'm saying correction, do you have to write the correction part also? So it's clear right now that if we write it down like for example QNH 1010, then we have to cut and then we have to write the correct one.
Yes, definitely. अच्छे से पूछ रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स. बस मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ वो भी समझना जरूरी है. नहीं तो क्या हमें हमारे डाउट का डायरेक्ट सोल्यूशन नहीं मिलता ना, तो हम मिस कर जाते हैं कुछ चीजें, और कुछ नहीं.
Sir, one more question. Like for example, if we don't write it, you know, हम लोगों ने लिखा नहीं, but mind पे हम लोगों ने बोल दिया QNH 1010.
तो आपके
So
मार्क्स
do we have to
डिडक्ट
write
होंगे, एग्जाम में डिडक्ट होंगे आपके मार्क्स.
got it.
क्योंकि वो लास्ट में आपका हार्ड कॉपी को चेक करेंगे वो लोग. उन्होंने तो सब सही लिखा है ना, उससे क्रॉस चेक करेंगे वो लोग। वहां पे कुछ भी मिसमैच हुआ ना, भले ही आपने सारे कॉल्स बहुत अच्छे दिए हैं और लॉगिंग हाफ ही की है, तो आपको शायद वो लोग पास नहीं करेंगे। जो जैसे सीक्वेंस में बोल रहे हो वो सारा लिखना है, सिंपल फंडा। एवरीथिंग द वे यू आर स्पीकिंग मिसिंग शुड बी द वे इट इज। इट शुड बी अ डिट्टो रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन पेपर. It should be a voice recording on paper. It's like that. So you cannot miss out on anything. Got it, students? Something to think about, right? Good. Good doubt. खुल के पूछना है students. And कुछ भी मैं बोलूं, कुछ भी miss नहीं करना है. Anything that I say should not be missed. It's very important. Okay. Write this phrase quickly. When a station is called, but identity of the calling station is uncertain. What I was simulating in the first call with Suchita. Then the station who is calling will be requested to identify itself by repeating the call sign. ये हमने practice किया. Even if you don't write, you can write it in your own words. You can say, if I don't know who's calling. So take an example. I'll say Mumbai Tower 456. Mumbai Tower doesn't know who this person is. So Mumbai Tower will say, so they don't know who's calling, right? So let's see how their reply would be. They'll say, station calling Mumbai Tower. Say again, call sign. So the W1 becomes that station who is calling Mumbai Tower. Remember this. Say again your call sign or say again call sign. Then you'll be like, Mumbai Tower, Air India 456. Now you've got call sign. Why? Because earlier they missed out on that part. There, because it's related to call sign, they don't know who you are. They're going to say station calling so and so. Say again call sign. Think about it. Give me a minute, students. See if you have any more doubts. We are not done yet. Just give me a second. Students, make sure all your doubts are cleared. You know, sometimes I have also seen some students feel bad and not discuss doubts with me. Please, we are learning here. If you feel bad, you can tell me if there is something that has made you feel bad, and we'll apologize and we'll make it up to you. But only if you will tell us. Otherwise, if you don't discuss, don't study, don't do doubts, your training will not be complete. And the results will not get. We want the results, nothing else. I know sometimes I can be very intimidating to some people. I know that about me, I can be very scary also. But I mean, I try to reduce it, It should not be that you feel ignored, or you feel that I'm not giving emphasis on you, or maybe because you didn't clear 2-3 attempts and you think I'm not gonna, be willing to invest more time in you because you think that you're not paying again and again. Those things they don't work here at our institute. Once a student, always a student. Don't ever feel this is the reason why you are not getting training or you're not getting any. The reasons are the same reasons which you have been told always. Don't overthink like that. That's it. Okay? We will never discriminate. I will never allow that to happen. That is the reason I'm doing everything by myself, right? Chalo. Write down the next point. Now, this point, Usaid, I'll come to you. Stand by. This point is with respect to Preetham's doubt only, and very good time to ask the doubt, because the next thing to do was this only. Quickly write it down. Otherwise, we'll run short of time. Error made in, whenever there's an error made in transmission. So transmission means when you are transmitting. Say again is to do with when your reception is doubtful. If the ATC is receiving it doubtfully, or if you are receiving it doubtfully, you both can use say again, right? So say again generally is going to be used when you are going to be doubtful about what you have received. But now when error made in transmission, just like what Preetham was telling us, अरे मैं कुछ बोलने वाला हूँ, वहाँ कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई, तो मैं क्या करूँगा? Of course, we know with our standard words and phrases, we say correction. But how do we use it? Error made in transmission, the word spoken is correction. Okay? Followed by, now what follows correction is very important for us. Followed by the last correct group or phrase and followed by the last correct group or phrase repeated, and just add and then the correct version transmitted. Now I'll give you an example, okay? And then the correct version transmitted. Now here I would want you to change this once, okay? The last correct group of phrase, repeat it, and then you will write, and then the correct version transmitted. Here I'm going to show you an example. Let's say I'm calling Mumbai Tower Air India. Disregard this one. We'll start over again. Mumbai Tower. Victor Tango. Alpha Lima Kilo. Flight level 70. Radial 347. DME 5. Correction DME 85. Outbound. That's all in the call. The reply would be Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, Mumbai Tower, Roger. Students, the statement is very tricky that after saying correction, you should follow by the last correct group or phrase that you have repeated. So you'll be like, so what does it mean? And how do I then the correct version transmit it? So here the meaning is very simple. The last correct phrase said was DME only. But the value of DME was incorrect. So I've used the word correction. Then the last correct word said was DME. So I've used DME again. And then I will use the correct version. It is very logical. Just the statement that explains it is confusing. Something that when you read, you don't really understand. Write down this important point. Whenever correction is such that the repetition of entire message is required, then the pilot or the operator shall use the phrase correction, I say again, before transmitting the message second time. Usaid, what's the doubt? Tell me.
Sir, we cannot use here disregard.
ये हम सिर्फ स्टेटमेंट करेक्शन कर रहे हैं. डिसरिगार्ड हम पूरा कॉल ही डिस्काउंट कर देते हैं कि वो कॉल भूल जाओ आप कंप्लीटली पूरा. जो जनरली हम तब यूज करते हैं जब हम कोई गलत एटीसी को कॉल कर रहे होते हैं. जनरली अगर सेम एटीसी को जा रहे हो और आपको एक कॉल करेक्ट करना है तो आप करेक्ट वो कॉल बोलते बोलते आपको जब समझ रहा है. So when you understand while giving the call that, okay, I made a lot of mistakes in my call, then I can just say correction, I say again, and I can give the whole call again, the whole call again. Here you don't need disregard. When you say disregard, it's not a correction. It's asking the other person to completely ignore that message. So here, when I made this call, I didn't do any corrections. I asked you to ignore because I didn't want to take any airline codes. Why? Because I feel that even if I'm simulating an emergency with an airline code, it's not right on my part to do so. So you said, क्या पूछ रहे हो आप बताओ?
सर बस यही था.
समझ गए?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Everybody picking up these things? Couple of more important points to be done. We are not having much of time, students. Quickly write down. When reception is expected to be difficult, when reception is expected to be difficult, when you're expecting the reception is going to be difficult, important elements of the message will go twice. Important elements of the message are spoken twice. Only important messages. This is similar to words twice, but words twice can be requested by ATC to the aircraft, like, okay, transmit by saying words twice. Let's take an example over here. Mumbai control Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo 100 DME inbound Mumbai, flight level 900, lost left engine. I say again, lost left engine, losing power, losing power. Request immediate descent. Here, because it's a single engine failure, I recollect and I could say the call will start with pan, 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 pan. So one correction, technically for an engine failure call, I could say, but not all single engine failure calls are pan, pan calls. Remember, in real life, if your aircraft is certified for single engine operation, it might not be a pan, pan call. In our examinations, we are free to choose. So sometimes I can use by myself to say, I say again and repeat important elements twice, especially when you think the reception is going to be difficult. So sometimes there would be bad weather, there would be static, there would be errors. You could do that. Last point that I would like to discuss right now with respect to these little things. Write down with respect to read back. Who can tell me what is the meaning of read back?
Transmitting as received.
Jyotsna, Suchita, what are your answers?
Sir, we have to repeat all or particularly specified message to the ATC exactly what they have replied.
Okay. Suchita, your answer?
Repeat all or the specified part of the message or last transmission back to me exactly as received.
Okay. Any more? Karishma, you go ahead. Very good.
Repeat all instructions as received and then continue with rest of your reply and end with your call sign.
Correct. Students, a readback is very important for you to be given exactly as received. Okay. It is very, very, very important. They will tell you what are the situations important for you to give read back. I would say any information given to you, you give a read back. That's the best rule. Okay. But generally, there are sequences that are being given to you where you have to give read back. I'll give you those sequences when the right time comes. But you have to remember you're always supposed to give a read back. But the most important thing that you need to know is that your readbacks should always end with your call sign. Write down. An aircraft readback should terminate with aircraft call sign. Very important. This is why you have to remember whenever your readbacks are in picture, end with your call sign. Sometimes in rush, due human error when giving examples, I end up missing certain things. You be on the lookout and correct me in those times. Don't be like, sir, आपने गलत लिखा, हम तो गलत ही पढ़ेंगे. Don't be like that. Why do we give readback? And what will the ATC do? So the ATC will carefully read your readback and will confirm that whatever clearance or instruction given to you, okay, it has been correctly acknowledged by me, the pilot, okay, or by you, the pilot. And if ATC realizes that your readback is incorrect, then ATC will say, negative, I say again, and then they will give you the correct. So you will write down for incorrect readbacks. Now, in your case, in the examination, for incorrect readbacks, you can also say negative, I say again, because the pilot could give you incorrect readback. The ATC could give you incorrect readback. The ATC could give you incorrect readback. Even then, you have to do the same thing. If the pilot gives ATC the incorrect readback, they will also do the same thing. So for incorrect readback, in bracket, you'll write of a clearance or information the person who received incorrect readback. So sometimes when you are giving a report, ATC might give you an incorrect readback. Remember, or sometimes when ATC is giving you a clearance, you can be given an incorrect readback. Of a clearance information, here you can also write of report also in bracket. The person who receives incorrect readback shall transmit the word negative, I say again, followed by, and then you will say the correct version. This is very important when you do pre-flight radio checks or pre-flight cell call checks, students. Very important. They might give you an incorrect readback of your cell call code, incorrect readback of your position, DME, radial, flight level. You say negative, I say again, flight level 350, like that. Let's say, for example, this is your situation. Mumbai Control, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, flight level 70, radial 135, DME 50, inbound. Flight level 75, radial 135, DME 50 inbound, Mumbai control. In the exam, please listen to things carefully, students. This is what the exam is all about. Trust, many students they don't care what the ATC is saying. They only care about next question mein kya dena, next question mein kya dena. It's a communication procedure that they are checking. Every question is a chance to get 20 marks solid, or every sub question is a chance to get 10 marks solid. You get 60, 65 solid marks, you're clear part 1. Although passing is 50, we need solid, we need good performance. 16, the first 4 questions is what I'm aiming on. The last question shall be very easy to score for you. So here you'll say, negative, I say again, flight level 75. Victor Tango, Alpha Lima Kilo. You can say this much also over here. What was negative? Everything else is correct. Up to you. Okay. Coming back to the word where we use correction, students, I want you all to follow only this thing now. Everyone, remember I told you we can say, what do we say? We can do this, right? We can cross out and say correction, or we can write correction. Right now, stop this crossing out. No crossing out. So we will only follow this protocol from now on, which I'm giving you right now. Everyone, please update yourselves with this. If the call was QNH 1010, correction QNH 1013. This is correct. You will write the old one the way it was, then you'll write the phrase or the word correction, and then you'll give the correct version, starting with the first correct and then following with the correct version. Remember, don't use this. No crossing out. No crossing out. We're not going to use that at all now. Don't cross out. Pritam, Jyotsna, Nukul, Vignesh, Rani, Manan, Sajal, Pooja, Zanvi, Usaid. Make sure you know this on priority. You might not have a chance to revisit these things again. Okay, Pritam, updated. No crossing out, nothing. The way you say, whatever you say, you write. Simple. So that logic stays true. That rule stays true.
Affirm, sir. Victor Tango Delta Alpha Sierra.
Okay. Everybody has done that readability check, right? Where we say Mumbai ground, India 123 on 121 decimal 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read? Students, do you really know what is the real reason why we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Anyone?
Sir, so that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a sequence. So the other person can judge whether it is breaking or not.
So this is a logical explanation I had given you all. And that is one pure logic, of course. It will be really helpful as to determine the strength. But generally, there is also a second explanation. Whenever you are checking your radio systems, trying to, for the purpose of setting or resetting your transmitters properly before you go ahead with your other calls on the day of your flight, the first calls that you do to set up your to just check if your comm systems are working fine or not, there is a rule. Write down this rule. Whenever you're checking your transmission systems via a radio check, so that if there are any adjustments to be made, so whenever you are checking your transmission systems for adjustments before you start with your calls, the radio check done in those cases, the radio check done in those cases shall not continue for more than 10 seconds. Shall not continue more than 10 seconds. So when we are doing a radio check like that from a ground, we say that so that we are counting those seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10 seconds check, finish the test. Finish the test. So basically, you're testing and checking if my reception is clear or not, if my transmission is continuous or not. But the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it will actually, with respect to the test, should not be more than 10 seconds. Remember this, okay? Where you might be the only people who know this. So don't get into arguments and debates with other people who are disagreeing with you. You just perform in the exam, examiner will know your truth. Other people who might be learning from somewhere else something wrong, they might debate and they might influence you to do the wrong thing. That should never happen with you. One more thing I got to know, that one of the students was just calling me, he's just texting me and he's like, sir, I realized he was hiding a lot of things. You know, we keep getting calls and messages from people we have not spoken, or some people who have inquired for something 3-4 months before and now they're trying to connect. And so he was like, sir, something I was talking about, sir, I want to clear navigation in first in the next 20 days. How much fees will you charge? I'm like, बेटा फीस कितना भी दे दो, आप पढ़ोगे नहीं तो आप पास नहीं होने वाले उससे. इतना रश क्या है आपको? Why you rushing so much? Because even if you give me a lakh or two, you might not be able to clear nav dedicatedly in just 20 days, right? It depends. So let's first talk and see why the rush is. So generally, you know, calls are very scheduled on priority basis only. So I thought I'll talk 5 minutes. And I was speaking to this guy and he didn't know. He didn't know that he has to study and clear. But he has been a regular part of a lot of Telegram groups. So he's like, sir, I have been your follower on YouTube and I've been regularly seeing your videos, but I want to start from scratch. Now, of course, the videos are not accessible to anyone. Now they have fixed the issue of private access, right? So it was the time before. So I'm like, so sir, I've watched all your 50 videos. 50 videos, good. Your course is over. Good for you. He's like, no, sir, I want to start from scratch. So I'm like, so did you just watch it or did you study it? He's like, sir, whatever it is. So I realized probably somebody might have downloaded it or somebody might have that basic content with them or what. I don't know what the case is. He would not confess directly, right? So students, sometimes they think they are being very smart, but we get to see what they are doing where, but we don't confront them. It's not our job to confront. It doesn't mean we don't realize the truth. So I was telling him why, what, and how. So all wrong vibes. He was so negative about everything that in the end he knew and he was influenced by his circle that he has to do something wrong to get his achievements. He was told that only 2% students clear navigation exams. It is the worst and difficult exam. If it is the worst and difficult exam, why are you rushing to finish it in 1 month? I don't understand. The logic is not matching. So I inquired a little more and I told him, forget about the fees and admission. You figure out why you want to do. And it came back to that only. If you don't study, tomorrow if you're flight training solo, if you get lost and you cannot determine dead reckoning, speed, distance, time formulas also, how will you come back and land? And what if you crash? We won't even find your bones. That's when it shook him. Sir, is my education gonna really be helpful to me in my flight training? I'm like, why do you think people crash during their training phases? It's not a joke. What are you thinking, sir? But I'm in a Telegram group and all and all. I'm like, so what? So those people in your Telegram groups are nothing but marketing executives of main agencies. They are going to demotivate you in a way wherein you go to them only for your final ultimate goals. That is the real thing on those groups. They are self-proclaimed masters of something which they are not. So the problem happened somewhere. He took a name of my student. He's there in a group who has cleared his navigation his first attempt following one of the series of nav lectures. You know, the only 3 to 4 series have been uploaded. So he's like, sir. So I asked him, which lecture have you seen? I could just help you study it from scratch and all everything, right? Forget the fees. Let's talk about studies. You know how the process is, right? Don't take money directly unless we select the student. So he's like, sir, that student was in that batch. So I gave him the name of the batch. He's like, okay, sir, this batch. Okay, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, so those students all have cleared from that batch. Nobody is left. So he was shocked. Sir, are you serious? If I study all videos from this batch, I will clear? I'm like, of course, it's finished. It's a finished curriculum. Those people have cleared. I'm like, why are you shocked? He said, sir, टेलीग्राम में मुझे किसी ने बोला कि ये तो फ्री में डाले, इसका कोई वैल्यू नहीं है, यहाँ से मत पढ़ना, ये आपको कुछ काम नहीं आने वाला है. तो सर मैंने जाने दिया वो अपॉर्चुनिटी. आई एम लाइक, ऐसा तो लोग बोलेंगे ही ना, क्यों नहीं बोलेंगे? उनका बिजनेस जा रहा है ना. अगर आपको लग रहा है किसी ने फ्री में डाल रखे हैं नेविगेशन, पीपल आर चार्जिंग अप टू अ लाख मे बी मोर, तो अपना बिजनेस क्यों जाएंगे? आप उनकी क्यों सुन रहे हो? आप किसी की भी क्यों सुन रहे हो किसी ग्रुप में? आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड वेयर इज दिस कमिंग फ्रॉम. एंड आई वाज लाइक, of course people will badmouth, even I say wrong things about so many places without taking their names, because I know for a fact they are doing bad things. So I'm sure, even if I know for a fact, if I say bad, karma is going to come back to me and people are going to talk bad about me. It's not like we don't make mistakes, but who is at loss right now? That student who was inclined to come and join and study in the right place and study, he's being completely influenced and going in the wrong direction, and he's very much at loss as in being doing this in so many days, 3 4 5 months. His conditioning is ruined completely now, and sadly this is a harsh reality of a majority of our people who are trying to enter. That's why I don't do group students. Still we are able to communicate. Everyone is in sync and collected. So it's about time that you, as my students, are aware about this and you realize that your only leader should be your own knowledge. Unless you don't know something, go through the manuals, go through regulations, get your knowledge. And then you are your leader. You don't need to listen to anyone out there. If you're not getting the right knowledge, you let me know. I'll show you how to find the right knowledge. That's it. Even I'm saying don't trust my word unless you have it in writing from ICA or DGC or WPC. And it's easy. People are taking advantage of your lack of knowledge because the access to that knowledge is not directly available to us with a Google search. And what do you get first on Google search? People who have paid the most money for their marketing. Why would DGCA pay any money for marketing? Because it's a government website. Think about it. Why would they market? They're not doing a business. I'm not marketing. Nobody is marketing. We keep getting ads from revenue, ads from Instagram, Facebook, and Google that pay, and we will explore. I'm like, right now we're not doing it as that targeted audience and all. Sometimes they give us credit and we try like using that credit, but we don't like to do that. So you will never reach out in the right place unless you find the right place, unless you get your own knowledge. So please don't get influenced by people and don't miss out on the good things that you're getting. If you don't believe something is working in your way, if you don't like the way things are not working for you, you speak up so that you have the freedom to speak up so that we can rectify and give it in a best possible way. But don't miss out on this golden opportunity of learning that is very rare these days in our country. And that's why I say, whatever I teach you in the class, trust me, it's gonna give you whatever you need. The only difference would be some might get it sooner, some might get it later. But you will get it when you yourself are thorough, and everybody takes time. It's just like that, somebody can buy a car in the first year of the job. Somebody will buy a car after 5 years of their job. It depends. Somebody will build a 6-pack, 8-pack if he's into modeling in a couple of months. Somebody who's not into modeling, like me, it will take me more time to develop a 6-pack or 8-pack. One of the most difficult transformations, physical transformation. Somebody who's into acting who wants to lose weight can do it within 6 months, 3 months, because 8 hours, 10 hours, they're going to do that. Somebody who's working professional, working a job, wants to lose weight. We know we cannot give 8 hours just to work out. So we'll take more time to reach there. But eventually, if you don't give up, 12 months down the line, you'll get the physique what that person is getting in 3 months. But it depends, varies based upon our resources, our quality, our ability. But everybody has to go through the hard work, students. and has to give in that number amount of time, and it should be in the right place. Taking the final example of workout, if you lift up dumbbells 100 times in the wrong posture, you will never build any muscle. But if you lift dumbbells in the right posture just for 30 times, you will build up muscle. So that is smart in the right direction. So you have to be smart with the right set of things. If you're smart with the wrong, you're just wasting your time. Don't do that. Okay? So I'll take your leave, students. Tomorrow, I have not got any request for any holiday from anyone. So hopefully, we'll not be doing it. So I'm very happy to see that zest and zeal in y'all. I'm hoping these little basics that you have figured out today, you'll remember them. Because after this, if we practice any call, and if you don't use these things in your call, then you will know that this is why you will not clear the exam. But in any situation and call, if you use these things, you will see your calls are brilliantly perfect. And that brilliant perfection is amazing to achieve. And you'll definitely find your answers, your names in the final result list, even when you'll feel your exam was tough. It has to be tough. It doesn't mean you cannot clear. It doesn't mean you cannot be right. So I'll take your leave, students. Feel free to drop me a message with respect to your doubts, any other requests. And I'll see you tomorrow. And let's hope to meet you in skies and practice few live calls to start the session with. Okay? I'll see you when I see you next. Taking your leave, students. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.